History. History is the study of people's lives, our ancestors, how they lived, about discoveries, inventions, and lot of developed culture. History was divided into two types: prehistory and proto-history. Prehistory means it was way beyond million years ago, so there is no information ever recorded. When it comes to proto-history, the civilization is not yet developed or written. If there are some information, but it was unable to decipher. In proto-history, again it was divided into three types: Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and Neolithic age. Paleolithic age means 5 lakh BC to 10,000 BC, the period which was no records found. And Mesolithic age means Middle Age, between 10,000 BC to 4000 BC. And Neolithic age means New Stone Age, between 4000 BC to 1000 BC. Here in Mesolithic age and Neolithic age, some research and some records found about human history. And history is the written information about the people's lives and their activities and incidents. Here comes the most important thing in India in terms of civilization. Indus Valley civilization was in between 2500 BC to 1700 BC, which means around 700 years. Indus Valley civilization is also known as urban civilization. There are a lot of changes happen in this civilization. These people are also known as modern people. A lot of modern things has happened at that time. Agriculture was started, barter system was started. Aryans came from Iran, Central Asia, and they are the main reason for the downfall of Indus Valley civilization. Aryans was ruled India for 900 years, between 1500 BC to 600 BC. In this period, the Vedas were started. Vedas were two types: early Vedic period and late Vedic period. Early Vedic period was between 1500 to 1000 BC. Late Vedic period was between 1000 BC to 600 BC. In this period, the Ramayana and Mahabharata was written. And next come to the Magadha kingdom. Magadha kingdom was existed for 200 years, between 600 BC to 400 BC. Bimbisara was the first king. These kingdoms are in the state of Bihar, and he was the follower of Buddha. Buddha was born in 563 BC. And next come to Nandas. Nandas ruled for 20 years, between 344 BC to 323 BC. They are the powerful rulers of Magadha. At this period, the Alexander came to India, didn't came to Punjab, because he heard they were very powerful leaders. Alexander in India for 19 months. Lot of rulers has supported Alexander, and he occupied some kingdoms and made his governors prominent rulers. He back to Babylonia and he died in Babylonia, Iran. Next come the prominent leaders in the history. Mourya Dynasty. Mourya Dynasty ruled for 136 years. Two literary sources in Mourya Dynasty. One is Chanakya, born in Taxilia, Pakistan, and Megasthenes, and he was a Greek historian. So founder of Mourya Dynasty was King Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya's son was Bindusara. Bindusara's son was Ashoka the Great. We all familiar with Ashoka, and here the fact is Ashoka's grandfather was Chandragupta Maurya, and Ashoka lived for 72 years, and we all are familiar with Kalinga War. It was the greatest, bloodiest battle in the Indian history. It was took on 261 BC, and some people call Ashoka Roy. Roy means king in French. Ashoka lived for 72 years. Chanakya lived for 88 years. Yes, they may met, and after 17 years of Chanakya died. There is no evidence after 180 BC suddenly history started. Yes, this is a very important thing. Lot of pages and lot of years are missing in Indian history. We know that the Maurya Dynasty last period was 185 BC. From 185 BC up to 349 AD, there is no rule in the Indian history. Maybe they had rule in local bodies, but it was not represented in the Indian history, and these pages are missing. Next, Gupta's dynasty. Guptas were ruled for 230 years. Guptas were in between 320 AD to 550 AD. The founder was Sri Gupta. His son was Gotadgacha. He were called as Maharajas. Gupta's entire kings were called as Maharajas. Sri Gupta's grandson was Chandragupta I. He was the first ruler of the dynasty. Chandragupta I ruled for 15 years in Bihar, Allahabad, and Chandragupta's son Samudragupta ruled for 40 years. He divided his group into 5 and started ruling all over India, north, south, east and west. He is described as heroes of 100 battles, and Samudragupta's son Chandragupta II. Chandragupta II is also known as Vikramaditya. He ruled for 32 years. At his time, the Chinese pilgrimage Heian visited, and Vikramaditya's son was Kumaragupta, and next Kumaragupta's son was Skandagupta, and he was the last ruler of Gupta Empire. Guptas did cave paintings indicating Buddha philosophy. Temples, sculptures are heavily built and written, and the life of Gautama Buddha was common subject when it comes to paintings. Next, Pushyabhuti Dynasty. Harshavardhana was the ruler of Pushyabhuti Dynasty. He ruled for 41 years. He belonged to 7th century, which means 700 AD. Banabhatta was a person who stayed in his court, and Banabhatta wrote Harshacharita, which is the life biography of Harshavardhana. He ruled Punjab, Bengal, Odisha. Huan Sang portrays him as the liberal Buddhist. He was the lover of literature. Harshavardhana loved lot of books and he read lot of books. He wrote 3 books. And next come to Rashtrakuta Dynasty. Rashtrakuta Dynasty was founded by Danti Durga. Amogavarsha was the greatest scholar in his kingdom. People of this period wrote Kannada book. Kannada literature was heavily popular in this period. King Krishna I was popularly remembered for constructing rock-cut cave, a Kailas temple at Ellora. The temple was built in the rock. Rock was cut according to the size of temple. It was one of the best constructions ever in the Indian history. World recognized its importance and its greatness. And next come to Chalukyas. Chalukyas are in between 6th century to 12th century AD. Founder of Chalukyas was Pulakesin I. Much of the sculptures and paintings of Ajanta and Ellora caves were completed during the Chalukya period. Rashtrakutas building and Rashtrakutas construction, they passed that culture to Chalukyas. Chalukyas are separate entities. Chalukyas are divided into Eastern Chalukyas and Western Chalukyas. Western Chalukyas are known as Kalyani Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas are same Eastern Chalukyas. Eastern Chalukyas, their power weakens and later they became Cholas. And next come to Western Ganga Dynasty. King Kongani Madhava was founder and he ruled ancient Karnataka. And next dynasty was Hoysala Dynasty. It was in between 7th century AD. Vishnuvardhana was great king. He ruled Mysore and Madras, which is known as Chennai. Ballala II was grandson of Vishnuvardhana. He defeated Chalukya rulers in the battle 1191 AD. He ruled for 42 years. Last ruler Ballala III ruled for 39 years from 13th century 1310 to 1339 AD. Muslim ruler Malik Kafur attacked and occupied Hoysala dynasty. And next 12th century. In this period, the rulers of Delhi Sultanate was started ruling. It is also known as slave dynasty. A Turkish man came from Turkey and founded slave dynasty in 1206 AD. He also began construction of Qutub Minar. Qutbuddin Aibak was the ruler of Delhi Sultanate, and followed by Iltutmish was his son, and Iltutmish's daughter was Razia Sultana, and Razia Sultana was granddaughter of Qutbuddin Aibak. Razia Sultana was first and only Muslim lady who ever ruled India. Altonia impressed Razia subsequently. Razia married Altonia and both went to Delhi. Next, Khilji dynasty. Jalaluddin Khilji founded Khilji dynasty. Alauddin Khilji was nephew of Jalaluddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji killed Jalaluddin Khilji and succeeded throne. He sent his army and defeated Warangal Kakatiya ruler Prataparudra and imperialism of Alauddin Khilji. He controlled the prices of food grains to horse, from cattle to imported clothes. He imposed lot of new taxes, and this was end of the period. And next come to Tughlaq dynasty. It was in 13th century. In between there is some dynasties was ruled up to 14th century. Those are Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty, and next come to the very important dynasty in the Indian history was Mughals. Mughals was ruled for almost 15th century to 18th century. Babur was the first ruler of Mughals. Babur's son was Humayun, and Humayun's son was Akbar, and Akbar's grandfather was Babur. Akbar became king at the age of 13. He fought several battles in his life. He fought second Panipat battle, and Akbar occupied Delhi and Agra. Birbal was a wise person in the Akbar court. Akbar used to listen his teachings. Akbar's son was Jahangir. Sir Thomas Roy in 1615 to 1618. He was ambassador of James, a ruler in British. Jahangir established direct relations between Mughal government and East Indian Company in 1615. Jahangir's son was Shajahan. Here the fact is Shahjahan's grandfather was Akbar. So Shahjahan, we are very familiar with this name, the man who built Taj Mahal for Mumtaz. Shahjahan's son was Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb imprisoned his father Shahjahan in jail. Shahjahan spent 8 years in jail seeing Taj Mahal, and later he died. Aurangzeb destroyed Golconda Fort, Hyderabad in 1686, and he destroyed a lot of Hindu temples. In the last phase, the ruler Bahadur Shah was deported by British and controlled Burma. It was happened in 18th century. It was the end of the Delhi Sultanate, and here are some kingdoms run in parallel time. And Marathas was started their kingdom in 16th century. Shaji Bhosle, Shivaji's father, was the ruler of Marathas. Shivaji started ruling his kingdom at the age of 16. Shaji Bhosle trusted him. Shivaji, at the age of 18, he showed mettle, which means the ability to cope well with difficulties, spirit and resilience. Shivaji renewed his war against Mughals, gradually recovered many of his forts. Shivaji consists of 30,000 to 40,000 military power. He was the good administrator. He was famous for his occupancy of land and guerrilla warfare tactic, surprise attacks on his enemies. He defeated large army with his small army. He was known for his bravery brilliant and courage. He also had good willpower and vision to his mind. He died at the age of 50. Next, the Peshwas, and at this same time, the advent of Europeans happened in the 15th century. Portuguese came to India in 1498, which means Spain people. Spain sailor named Vasco da Gama arrived at Kolkata. In 1501, he again came back to India for second time. He set up a trading factory at Kerala. Slowly, rulers came to India and captured Goa. Goa became the headquarters of Spain people. In 16th century, Dutch, which means Netherland people, came to India and acquired lands and built their forts in 1602. Netherlands people replaced the Spain. Here comes the main threat to India, Britishers. British came to India in 16th century. In 1600, East Indian Company established here in India. They used to establish colonies in India and lot of different states. Captain William Hawkins visited Mughal court of Jahangir to permit the trade. They established a factory in Surat. After 7 years, East Indian Company established a branch factory at Machilipatnam, Andhra Pradesh. They got high profits after landing in India. They got permissions to trade. They came for trade and now they are establishing authority. In 17th century, French came to India and started French East Indian Company. It was similar like British. They established factories in Surat and Machilipatnam. Lot of ruling happened. In 19th century, they used to treat Indians as slaves and they established their government in India. Some brave leaders started Revolt of 1857, which means the British came for trade and now they are establishing authority. This was the main motto of revolt. Rebellion began on May 10th, 1857 in Delhi. Lot of Indian people and soldiers punished for this act. British captured Delhi on 20th September 1857. Last ruler Bahadur Shah taken as prisoner and exiled. British defeat Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, Tantia Tope and Nana Sahib, etc. Some great leaders has born at this period of time. They started questioning the system. There are a lot of changes happening at this time and some socio-religious movements born. It was 18th century. Brahma Samaj was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Arya Samaj was founded by Dayanand Saraswati. He fought for ideal worship and untouchability. Ramakrishna Mission was founded by Swami Vivekananda in 1897, 11 years after the death of his guru Ramakrishna. Indian national movement started in 1905. Lord Curzon issued orders to divide Bengal. Lot of people opposed it and Swadeshi movement was started. It was anti-partition movement of dividing Bengal and there comes the formation of Muslim League. The objectives of this is to protect Muslim rights in India. British first fruit strategy was successful with Muslims. The strategy was divide and rule. Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined this league. This league was to promote a feeling of loyalty among Indian Muslims towards British government and Home Rule movement was started in 1916. Bal Gangadhar Tilak started this movement. Annie Besant at the age of 36 came to India. She is a theosophical employee and Rowlatt Act was formed in this 1919 year. Justice Rowlatt proposed it. It means the government imprisoned a person without investigation. Next, the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy was happened in 1919. In 1919, people gathered at Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar to protest against the arrest of two national leaders, Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin. Suddenly, a British military officer, General Dyer, entered at the park with his troops. The meeting was started at the right time. There were about 6,000 to 10,000 people. Without giving any warning, he ordered the troops to fire. Officially, 379 people were killed brutally, and following this incident, the Hunter Committee was formed. Government appointed a committee to inquiry the incident happened in India, and India also appointed some unofficial members to look this Hunter Committee. Next, the Khilafat Moment was happened in between 1919 to 1924. A Turkish emperor was attacked by British. Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad made an attempt to unite Muslims and aimed against British government. Next, the non-cooperation movement was happened in between 1920 to 1921. May 1920, All India Congress Committee decided to boycott all foreign goods and schools under the presidency of Lala Lajpati Rai, and a lot of Indians are followed of boycotting their goods, and Simon Commission was formed in 1927. Indian public demanded the dual government's difficulty. Lot of political parties boycott Simon Commission. Civil disobedience movement was started in 1930. It was the very historic period in the Indian history. Gandhi marched in protest of British monopoly on salt. On foot, Gandhiji walked from Sabarmati Ashramam to sea coast near the village of Dundee. It is also known as Gandhi March. Journey of 24 days covering distance of 390 kilometers. Thousands of people joined him. After this movement, the first roundtable conference has happened. It was chaired by British PM Ramsay. 16 delegates represent the three political parties of Britain, and 57 political leaders from India has went to London to attend this meeting. Second roundtable conference held in London with Gandhiji and Sarojini Naidu, etc. They appealed immediate removal of domination in India, which was refused. Third roundtable conference was held in London. Congress did not participate in it. Next, the very important chapter in the Indian history, which is national movement and Second World War. Gandhiji was very fearless man, and he know that it was not possible. We need to win war with peace. Congress agreed to support British only in a return of independence granted. The Viceroy promised this only after the war. The Viceroy refused the preconditions set by Congress. The preconditions are India must declare free or at least effective power put in the Indian hands before participating in the war. And next, Cripps mission. Cripps mission was started in 1942. In 1942, Cripps came to India to talk with Indian leaders about not willing to promise independence. Even after the World War II, the leaders not agreed and mission failed. Congress prepared to launch the third mass movement against British rule. It was written in the Indian history with a very big letters. Gandhiji named it as Quit India Movement, which happened in 1942. Gandhiji gave the slogan Quit India, stated that immediate ending of British rule in India. It was urgent and necessity. Lot of resolutions passed. Congress was banned. Lot of important leaders arrested. Government used army and police. Hundreds of people died and over 70,000 arrested in less than 5 months. The government means the British government. Muslim League was not friendly with the movement. Communist Party also didn't support for this movement. Sebastian the Boss, at the age of 44, he escaped from India and reached Germany, and he carried activities of India's freedom. He encouraged people to overthrow British rule. He met Hitler and asked for support to defeat British rule in India. He suggested that better India should be under British rule, and Bose asked to release the 1,000 Indian prisoners. He accepted. He took leadership of Indian National Army to liberate India from British rule. At this time, the demand for Pakistan began. Muslim League demanded for separate state of Pakistan. The demand was opposed by largest section of Muslim in India, and cabinet mission plan was happened in 1946. British announced that they were willing to end their rule over India in 1946. Interim government of India was formed in 1946. Interim means for some period of time. It was formed in 1946 September 2nd. It existed till 15th August 1947. And next is very important thing happened in India, which is India independent, British rule ends in 15th August 1947. A great victory to Indian people over British, and salute to the great Indian leaders who sacrificed their life. Now we are enjoying our freedom. That means all their effort. They lose their comfort zone and participated in several Indian movements, and they gave freedom